Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at the Logitech G Pro X gaming headset, which gives you a blue voice. Keep watching to find out why. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at the Logitech G Pro X gaming headset. This was actually kindly sent to us by Flat Earth Santa, otherwise known as Ugly Bob. Thank you very much, Ugly Bob. These have actually been reduced so many times on Amazon, it's ridiculous. And very recently they were reduced down to a particularly good price. So Bob pounced on these. I think he has actually got a set already, and he said, Mike, you've got to try these out, see what you think. So he sent them over, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go through, do the usual stuff, do an unboxing. I've actually been using these for a little while already. Had a couple of days to test them out, and also we've done some software tests, which you'll be seeing a little bit later in the video, done some voice recordings, all that kind of stuff, so I can get an idea of what they actually sound like. But yeah, overall, I think, long story short, if you're looking for a relatively inexpensive headset, when these are on offer, I think these offer fantastic value for money and really fantastic performance. But there is a caveat. I would suggest you wait until they are on offer. At their full retail price, it's somewhere in the region at the moment in the UK of £120. It's a little bit eye-watering, and I feel there's possibly others on the market which may do better, such as some of Corsair's offerings perhaps, or perhaps something which doesn't rely on a software solution to make it sound as good as it does. Anyway, with that said, let's get on and take a look at what we get actually in the box. So starting off with the packaging, it's got the headset on the front there, so you can see what it's all about. It's got the Pro X logo on there. There's a couple of versions of this. There's the Pro X, and the kind of difference between them is essentially a kind of like a software thing really. The Blue Voice, because Logitech bought Blue Yeti, the microphone creators, or Blue, whatever you want to call them. So they've tried to kind of integrate certain aspects of that business into their own. Now, they don't want to use, obviously, Blue capsules directly into their headsets, because that is kind of expensive and probably does separate the market or combine the market where they don't really want to. But they've actually used the software to kind of enhance Logitech's existing electronics. And it actually does a pretty decent job, as you'll hear a little bit later on in the video. But at the same time, it is a bit of a hassle, the fact you have to install the Logitech software and configure it, etc, etc. Anyway, I digress. So unboxing wise, as you can see, it's got a very small logo on there, so in Blue Voice. This is the Pro version, as we said. On the side there, you've got some information about certain gamers which use it, or game teams that use this kind of software, and also these products. The Logitech G series is essentially kind of for gamers, by gamers, etc. So they take feedback from actual real world athletes who play games for a living, and they kind of try and integrate that into their product line, which is very admirable. We like it a lot. On the back of the box, something which is almost impossible to read at certain angles. So this is the Pro G 50mm drivers. We've got Blue Voice software. You've got DTS headphone support. So this supports DTS headphone 2.0 in software. Also, you've got other things in there. So it's aluminium headsets, steel band, etc. Premium leatherette memory foam earpads. A 20 Hz to 20 kHz frequency response, which is pretty decent. 32 ohms, so reasonably okay to drive. And you've got your SPLs there, all that kind of stuff. Some more information on the side of the box about what is included in the box, but we don't need to look at that because we're going to go through that right now. Okay, so there's an absolute ton of stuff that you get included in the box, including a carry pouch, which is actually kind of nice. This is almost like a very thin memory foam, so a nice drawstring bag, so you can chuck all your stuff in there, throw it in your travel bag, and you're good to go. So it's nice to see that. It's got a nice little G logo on there as well for Logitech. You also got things like your instruction manual, tells you about what it works with, what it doesn't. So effectively this headset is designed pretty much as a one for all. So you can use it with your consoles, your mobile phones, you can use it with your PC, either from a 3.5mm jack or from the USB DAC, which is included. It does tell you which versions are supported. There are going to be some limitations with the software, because obviously the software requires the USB to be connected. If you're using this with a 3.5mm jack or even a splitter, which is included, then obviously you're not going to be able to access that software and take advantage of some of those features. You also get your warranty card as well included, and then it's just a bunch of cables and accessories. So one of the nicest accessories I've seen, and actually this is something I've not seen on a headset for a long time, is actually a spare set of pads. So these are in a kind of velour finish, so these are microfiber and also memory foam as well. Nice and easy to replace as well, just clips on, clips off, well, kind of push on, push off, that sort of thing. The ones that are standard are leather, which do a much better job of sound isolation and also trapping some of that bass in as well. If you're going to be using these, you are going to experience a little bit more sound leakage and also not quite a tight bass response, but on the flip side, you're not going to get quite such sweaty ears because of that foam, and also they're a little bit more airy. When it goes over to the other accessories, so the main one I suppose really is going to be this. So this is the Pro DAC. So this is a USB dongle which you plug into your computer, install the software, and then you can plug in the headset to the 3.5mm jack which is on here. This is effectively where most of the magic happens. So this does all your 7.1 audio, your DTS 2.0, your Blue Voice, all that kind of stuff, or Yeti Voice, or whatever they want to call it. Basically, this is what does all the enhancements. So if you want to actually program this, you can do, and you can set it up so that you can store the profiles actually on the DAC. It has got onboard memory. So if you're one of those people that use your headset on various different PCs, you can set up all your stuff, save it in your profile, unplug this, go and plug it into another PC, and it will still maintain all your settings. You can install the G Pro software if you want to, that sort of stuff, but that will keep most of your settings. So that is a pretty cool thing to have. You can pick up DACs like this on their own if you just want to use another headset. You can pick these up various different companies. Actually, we did a review of a Sharkoon one, which you can check out. I'll try and link it in the video below. Somewhere around about the sort of 30 to 40 pounds mark for a USB DAC. So take it into consideration. If you pick this up on a special offer, which at the moment it's actually on offer as of today's filming date, currently £69.99 on amazon.co.uk. So if you take off maybe 40 quid from that, it's actually, yeah, you get a lot for your money here. Talking of a lot for your money, you also get obviously a bunch of cables. So this one here, I have to look because I'm not entirely sure which one it is. So this is the one for the mobile phone. So it's got a mobile phone picture on one end, it's got a headset on the other. So obviously, you know, one side goes into your headset. There is actually a nice little cool feature. They have added a play and pause button and also a built-in microphone. So if you do want to use these out and about in the real world and not look like an absolute imbecile with a big old boom mic sticking around the front, you can detach the mic, which I'll show you how that works shortly, and you can use this with your headset as you would a normal set of headphones for a mobile phone. So you can still have your voice calls, listen to music, all that kind of stuff, just use the button on the front and also the built-in mic. So that's very handy. Cable itself is about 2 meters long, so that's awesome. The other cable, which is the one you're going to use probably more than likely, is going to be for PC. So this plugs into the headset and also to a PC, 3.5mm jacks again, if you want to use it that way, or obviously plug it straight into the DAC, which is kind of what it's really meant to do. You've also got on here a mechanical roller. So for the volume control, you can use that. I do like a mechanical roller. That's really nice, and it's got a really nice tactile feel to it. It doesn't want to move very freely. So if you do make any adjustments, even if you throw it in your bag or something, it's going to be really difficult to actually adjust that accidentally. So you do have to use some little bit of force there to do that. Also, there is a microphone mute, so a hardware mute button, and there's a little bit of a red illumination on there. Well, more of a bit of paint, but you get the idea. It shows you that it's muted, so that's pretty cool. If you want to use it onto a regular desktop PC or something else which requires a traditional 3.5mm jack for both the microphone and headset, they do include a splitter cable. For some bizarre reason, and I'm not entirely sure why, I actually wanted to do a segment of this video plugged into my camera, which takes a regular 3.5mm jack. But I plugged this into my camera, and for some reason I could not get anything out of it whatsoever. I don't know why, it works fine. I plugged this into my PC behind and actually did a couple of sound tests. So I actually did a sound test with a 3.5mm jack and also with the USB. And in fact, let's give you a demonstration of that so you can hear what it sounds like straight away. So first of all, you're going to hear the 3.5mm jack version just straight into the PC. Then you're going to hear the kind of exact same thing, but via the USB DAC. This is a sound test of the Logitech G Pro Series X gaming headset. This is currently with the microphone directly plugged into my computer. No sound modifications, no software, no anything. This is the raw sound going into OBS as I'm doing this screen recording. And there we go, scrolling the mouse up and down and moving the mouse around. And we'll see how it differs when it's actually running in software mode. So this is the Logitech G Pro X gaming headset, running straight from the microphone input on the computer. Okay, so this is a sound test of the Logitech G Pro X gaming headset. This is now using the USB DAC plugged into the USB 2 port on the computer and is being monitored or manipulated, for want of a better word, with the Logitech G Suite. which is running here in the taskbar. So this is the current profile, desktop default, and this is all pretty much in the default configurations for the microphone. So you can see here it's got the mic input gain, etc, etc. We'll take a closer look at those shortly, but this is just a mic test of it in its purest form. So as you can see, there is an incredible difference in the quality when using the USB DAC. I'm not too sure where the hissing is coming from the 3.5mm jack, whether there's some sort of manufacturing issue or some tolerances in here which they've not quite worked out. I'm not entirely sure. This is something which I actually meant to touch on in the review. Logitech are, I would say, almost famous for having really varying quality control standards. If you look at other reviews of this headset, it's been out now for quite a few years. I think it came out in the tail end of 2019. So it's been on the market 3 years or so. And you do see a lot of people that have had quite catastrophic failures, like one side just stopping working, or weird feedback, or just bizarre things, possibly even the USB just not being recognized. This is something I see a lot with Logitech products, especially the mice, where the failure rates do seem to be quite high. But then they do sell an absolute ton of these things, so if you sell more are going to fail. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Have you had a Logitech product fail on you recently? I would be very interested to know. Anyway, moving on to the microphone, as we've just tested out. So this is the actual boom microphone. Pretty cool. 6mm actual condenser in there, which is a little bit upgraded on the previous version of their headsets, which was, I think it was like a 4mm. So slightly bigger capsule in there. So in theory, it should pick up a little bit more of your voice and a little bit more detail. I do like the fact that the boom is flexible, so you can mount it where you want to. And also it's kind of keyed as well, so it only physically fits into the headset in one way. So if you're trying to plug it in, there is like a notch which it fits into. And actually when it's in there, it's pretty nice, and obviously you can move it out of the way should you want to. Doesn't always stick that far out, but yeah, you can move it around and get it a little bit closer if you want to, if you're more softly spoken. Or if you've got a large booming voice, then maybe you want to stick it over here somewhere. Very flexible, quite literally. So that's the accessories out of the way. This is taking forever, it really is. Let's look at the headset itself. So the headset itself is actually, it's bizarre because there have been a few people that have had issues with things not working. It's strange that this appears to be pretty much bomb-proof. It's a very solid construction. So you've got the metal arms there, there's a metal band in the top, but it's also very flexible at the same time. So even if you've got a massive head, you're not going to have any problems at all. And the clamping force, surprisingly, is pretty decent. So there's a lot of flex, but yet a lot of support. So yeah, that's unusual. You don't often get both of those together. So it would appear they've used some pretty decent hardware in here, such as the arms on the side there, all metal, that's good. The actual plastics as well, like a matte finish to it, which I don't think it looks cheap, but it doesn't look that premium. But with the actual section on the end there with the G logo on there, that actually does lift it a little bit. So something else which I actually kind of like is the fact there isn't any RGB to it, which for some people they may prefer a little bit of RGB on their headsets, but I actually quite like the fact that it's just something else you don't have to worry about. The actual cups themselves, very nice. So you've got leatherette style there, memory foam underneath that, very nice. Doesn't breathe particularly well, so I found even just wearing these for about an hour or so, I did find them getting a little bit sweaty. Whether or not it's because there is pretty decent clamping force, so they are getting a little sweaty. I did find them slightly sweatier than other headsets I've used, so I don't know whether it's the material or just whether I'm menopausal or something. I have no idea, but possibly. Overall, very nice. Around about 350 grams in weight, so they don't actually feel very heavy at all, so they're not going to be that fatiguing in terms of weight, but the actual sweatiness, you may find that. Lots of adjustment on the side, actually a ton of adjustment on there, so you can really get those quite big. They do appear to be quite small in their default form, so if I try and put them on in the default form, I've got no chance they don't get anywhere near my ears. Whereas if I put it down, then yeah, there's plenty of room, and I could have a larger head and it wouldn't be a problem. So there's lots of adjustment there. I also quite like the coiled wire that goes into the sides there, so just gives you a little bit of a retro look in my opinion, but it does serve the purpose very nicely. A little bit of angle adjustment on the actual cups themselves, but no rotation. So if you want to kind of take them off and have them flat on your shoulders, then you can't do that unfortunately, which not a great deal do, but it would have been nice to see, especially at their recommended retail price of the kind of £120 mark. That's the sort of things that would stand them out from the crowd, especially being they are a wired set, not wireless. So let's take a look at the software now and go through the voice settings, and you can hear what the microphone actually sounds like and how good it actually can be. Okay, so this is a closer look at the software for the Logitech G Pro X, and yeah, this is sorry, I'm a little bit distracted because the side tone is a little bit high, so I can hear myself. So let's turn that down a little bit. The side tone, for those of you who are wondering, is the ability to actually hear your voice back pumped back through the headset. So if you're playing a game and you're wondering what you actually sound like to other people, then you can have your side tone enabled. Now with it completely off, my voice sounds really weird and I'm not really sure how loud I am. So the side tone is actually a really useful thing. So you can monitor your own voice levels, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, you understand what I mean. So this is basically hearing yourself pump back through the headset. And because they do a pretty good job of noise cancelling, you probably will want to use this feature. So just a quick overview of what's going on here. So in acoustics, you've got the system volume, which is your Windows volume. You've obviously got your mic volume. This is currently set to 94 out of 100%. Side tone from 0 to 100%. And also you've got your filter presets down here. So you can choose various filter presets. A lot of these have been done by actual gamers. They've set up their own presets. So let's go through these and we'll see what differences it makes. At the moment, as you can see, we're on a flat default EQ. So if you do to G2 shocks, then you can see the differences made there to the various frequencies. London Spitfire, you can see those there. And TSM, I'm not even sure how you pronounce that, so I'm not even going to go through it. So this is the individual players from that team, I'm guessing. And then you've got other ones, so you've got FPS, MOBA, and then you've got the default again, so back to your flat EQ. And then there are the options to create custom EQs, etc. So you can do that if you want to. So that is what you can do with the actual headphones in terms of what things sound like. And also you've got options for surround sound, so you can go in and enable surround sound, and you can choose through multi-channel, so for either entertainment, gaming, sports, etc. Entertainment, obviously, for music, movies, etc. Gaming, yeah, you get the general idea. And also, you've obviously got the DTS 2.0 Super Stereo mode. So even though you've only got 2 physical speakers or drivers, you can make it sound like there are various ones, and you can choose the various level settings in this layout here. So you've got your center speaker, front right, and rear left and right, and also you've got your bass as well. You can adjust that should you want to, and you can go in and test the surround sound there to configure it how you want to. So yeah, that's all very cool. Most of you are probably going to want to go into the microphone section, being that you're using this for gaming. So the various options available here, so you can do a mic test, you can record it so you can hear what you sound like. This has been done, like I said earlier in the video possibly, this has been done in conjunction with Blue, the people who make the Yeti and other microphones. So this is a software modification to kind of enhance Logitech's own microphone capsules in this particular headset. So if you turn it on, you can enable it here, and also if you want to, you can use NVIDIA Voice. If you've got NVIDIA Broadcast installed, you can choose between the two. Blue Voice is kind of essentially the same sort of thing. So let's turn this on, and you should hear possibly some very slight differences here. I'm not too sure. I can't really hear it back in my head set at the moment. So at the moment you've got loads of different options. So in the moment we're on Broadcaster 1, so you can choose various different types. Again, you can choose the Pro Broadcaster presets, which are here, as it was for the output for the speakers as well. But you've also got the Blue Voice process. So go to AM radio, so this is going to obviously change your voice so it sounds like you're on an AM radio. Broadcaster 1, and you've got Broadcaster 2, then you can go through and use FM station. So again, a little bit of a degradation in sound there, but could be useful for certain processes. You've also got high voice loud, then you've also got high voice soft, and hopefully you're hearing the differences of this coming out as I'm going through them. Low voice loud, low voice soft, and there's lots of other presets there. Big and bright you can use, or loud voice, soft voice, and a subtle polish. Could be quite useful. Then you've got the old-fashioned telephone noise, so that's going to kind of make things sound very old-fashioned. And you've also got warm and rich, and also you can create your own presets should you wish to. So let's go back to, I think, Broadcaster 1 is what I was using previously. So yeah, lots of options for things you can change, and also you can actually upload this to the actual DAC. So you can update the onboard memory on the DAC. So if you've got an equalization setting, you can actually keep that when you unplug it from your computer, you can go back in and it will kind of remember it all. So let's turn off Blue Voice so you can hear the differences. So that is with Blue Voice disabled. And again, I think it actually still sounds pretty bloody good anyway. Certainly a lot better than it does with 3.5mm jack for some reason. But anyway, this is what it sounds like. Let's get back to the review. So there you go. There are some examples of what you can do with the microphone. Actually, it's going to be one of those things where you can tailor it to kind of be however you want to. Some other cool feature I noticed in there, which I didn't mention actually in that little segment of the video, is the fact that once you've actually created a profile, you can save it, but you can actually share it as well. And vice versa. If there's someone, a gamer that you know, and they've actually got a profile, they can share that profile with you. So if you listen to someone who's got one of these headsets and you really like the sound of their voice, maybe you could sound just like them if you use the same preset as them, which potentially is possible. So overall, very nice. Some downsides of this, I would say, is the software. Bizarrely, the software makes the microphone sound amazing, but it also actually harms it in some ways, I feel. Sometimes it doesn't quite do what it's meant to do. I think it sounds a little bit too boomy, or it's just not quite right. The 7.1 audio as well, the surround sound, I would say, doesn't appear to make a great deal of difference which mode it's in. I personally didn't notice any difference at all, to be completely fair. That is sometimes the case when you've got a system which is using two physical speakers to digitally recreate an environment. Some headsets do it better than others, and it is literally all down to the software. Now, most games are going to have their own kind of algorithms built in. So if you just set these up as a 2-channel headset, the game itself, the game engine, is going to do all the kind of hard work and all the lifting for you, because that's what it's intended to do. So it comes down to whether or not you actually need the software, which is ironic because this is one of the key selling points of the fact that it has the Blue Voice thing built into it, or as part of the DAC. So yeah, a tough one. This is one of those things where there are so many people that really, really rave about this particular headset. And I don't know whether it's just because I've actually been extremely lucky recently to sample some headsets from Sennheiser. The audio clarity from a Sennheiser headset, such as the HD 599 SE or the 569s, if you want a more closed sound. I think personally, in terms of actual audio, those offer a more diverse and a more open and a more detailed soundstage, which I'm guessing they probably should do. And you can pick those up for a very similar price, a reduced price somewhere around the £70 mark for the HD 599 SE. I have to remember the number there. If you're looking for just sound, so maybe you're just listening to music, watching movies, the occasional bit of gaming, then I might be tempted to go with the Sennheisers. If you're more on the gaming end of the market and kind of multimedia and movies is kind of like another thing that you do in your spare time when you're not gaming, then I think these will be better. Especially things like the sideband support is excellent. Obviously, the Sennheisers don't have built-in microphones, so that's something you'd have to look at as well. But in terms of overall quality, build, etc., it's early days for me. I've not experienced any issues with them. I know there has been people that have, and in their numbers, unfortunately. So only time will tell as far as that goes. For me personally, I think it's going to take a lot to move me away from the Sennheisers, being the fact that I'm gaming mostly on my own. So I'm just listening to the actual game audio. I'm not conversing with other people. But I think if that is the case, and I may be playing more multiplayer games, then I think these would probably get a better look in. But anyway, let me know what you think about them in the comments section below. I've got to be honest with you, I'm kind of on the fence about these, whether or not to recommend them. I think it's going to come down to, like I said at the very beginning, and the same still holds true. If you can pick them up as either a used bargain on Amazon.co.uk or Amazons around the world in their warehouse section, definitely worth a look at. Paying the full retail price at $120, yeah, that is going to be a bit of a push for me, I think. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section below. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.